Hello and welcome back to my channel. So we are going to take off where we left off from the previous video. So in the previous video we spoke about linked lists and why they're important and how much more efficient they are to a regular array list. And we also spoke about using list and iterator to go through each of the elements within a list. So a list collection. Sequence of elements. So now I've just added this extra method and it is called convert to uppercase method. We take in a list of type string and we call it list, and in this case we're going to also create a list iterator variable called iterate of type string called iterator, and we're going to assign the list iterator of the list that we take in within the method. So again, it's important here that we do not use the new keyword. It won't work with the new keyword. You're not creating a new object. You're just taking the method list iterator from the java.util list iterator method, and it returns a list iterator over the elements in this list in the proper sequence and assigning it to the variable called iterator. So then we use a while statement and we use the while loop to go through whether the list has a next or not. So it returns true or false. And this is where our naming conventions come into play. So a lot of Boolean naming conventions have a has, or has, or is at the start of the method, so you know that they're Boolean, so it makes it easier to identify for human reading as well. But obviously if you're using different frameworks as well, sometimes in different frameworks they can't be used in the workplace, so just be careful of that. Here we create just iterator.next. It returns the next element in the list and advances the cursor position, and it assigns it to string called color. So each time this while loop goes through the loop, it will reassign the color each and every single time it goes through. So similar to the enhanced for statement, because there's no counter with the enhanced for statement, it automatically knows whether if there is a next. As long as it's true, then it keeps going and reassigning the string, and while using that string it sets it to the uppercase. So here we're actually passing through a method within a method, which we haven't really come across within some of the videos that I've done previously. So if you think of iterator.set, and you can see here it replaces the last element returned by next or previous with the specified element. Optional operation. This can this can be made only if neither remove nor add has been called after the last call to the next or previous. So there's some important parts to that as well. But you can see that it takes a specific string. So as long as it takes a specific string, then you can use it. And because it's a string, we know with the string object we have all of these methods that are available. So I can easily put it back to lowercase again. I can trim it, or I can do any of these things with string that we had a look at before. If you're unsure, please go to the replace video that I did previously with the string class. That's really important because the string class has so many different varieties of things you can do. Within that then we changed it all to uppercase, and again nothing will happen or print out on the screen unless you call the printout function. So I've just added 3 extra lines here. One is with the header saying make everything uppercase. Then I call the method convert to uppercase strings. If you're using a different programming language, this will be called a function. And then I pass through the list one and print it out again. So when we run our program, we have everything within the uppercase. Now, if I wanted to make it lowercase, I can easily copy this Now the indentations are also important within programming to make sure everything is in line. So within this we can say lowercase here, taking our string, iterator has next, and we can say to lowercase. Obviously when I know that it's called to lowercase, so I've just typed it, but you can also do this and double click and it will bring it up. Now with the to lowercase, we will have to copy these lines here so we can print it out again, and with here it's convert to lowercase strings. Now when you highlight it, it's going to be a different color, and when you highlight it, it should show it highlighted down here as well. That's just a really important part of programming, so everything is matching. Usually if you type out something else again, it can be a little bit whether it works or not, so just be aware of that as well. Now there seems to be an error here. Incomplete block. Oh yes, there is an incomplete block now, and we might have an extra. Do we? This is also really important. So on line 89 we have our closing parentheses or a curly bracket, and there should be up in the class, then it's highlighted as well to make sure that they're matching. Now if I run my program, oh yes, I forgot to say make it lowercase in our statement, and run it again. So we have uppercase and lowercase. So we can do a lot with the string class. If you're unsure, please check out the video. I'll link it somewhere up on this corner of the screen. Okay, so I'm going to pause it there, and then we write out more programs and see what's happening next. Hello, so now we are going to manipulate our linked lists, and after this we're also going to continue on with doing other algorithms with collections, so binary search, sorting, shuffle and that kind of stuff. So for now we're just going to have a look at this. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to keep the channel alive before we continue. So here we have our import java.util arrays, and we also have our import java .util.linked list. So we have our class name, as usual, it's capital letter. We spoke a little bit about using Unicode. Everything within Java is interpreted with that. If you're unsure about it, please go back and watch the other video about it. It basically, a capital U is going to be a different number in Unicode. So within the table of Unicode within our Java language, it's going to interpret it differently. Anyway, so we have our public static void main, which is our main entry point of our program, and we have our string arrays. String array, which is called colors. We have an iterator list in this case, so it's black, blue and white. So the index for this is 0, 1 and 2, and the length is 3. So we have 3 elements in it, but we have our index as 0, 1 and 2. So linked list then, we have of type string called links, and it's creating a new object. So if I read it from the other way, which is nice to interpret, so we pass in our colors string, which you can see highlighted when I highlighted it, and we use what's called the asList method. So it returns the colors string, the colors array to the linked list and calls it links. Let me say that again. So what it actually does is it constructs a linked list of strings containing the elements of array colors. So previously we had used a for statement to link those 2 lines together. If you're unsure, go back and watch the introduction to linked list video. And we usually used a for loop to loop through and add them. But this is another way to do it. This is another way of using arrays method asList returns a list view of the array and then uses that to initialize the linked list with its constructor that receives a collection as an argument. So because a list is a collection, which we know already. So we use the asList. The return list implemented the optional collections method and passes it through and calls it links. And then we just use the regular methods for adding to the last element, adding afterwards, pink adding to the third index, so 0, 1, 2. So that will actually be in the fourth then, because we already have here. And then we add the first silver. Then we use this lovely line here as well. So we're creating a new object, a new string. We're taking in the list size, so all lists, including arrays, always know their size or length as well is the other method that we use for arrays. And we create either a new array, so the toArray copies the list elements into the array argument, and then it can also, depending on if it's too large, create a copy of a new array and return it then to colors. And then we just print it out on the screen. So let's have a look. And let's look how it works as well. So we have our colors, which is just our statement at the top. Silver is added to the first element. We have black, blue and white here. So before silver is executed, this is our 0, 1, 2, 3. So green is added. Red is added to the last, which we know already. And after the add, we know with all lists, they're appended to the end with the linked list. So pink is also added to the last. And then eventually it's shuffled down, it's moved down, and silver is added. So if I was to take out silver and run it again, you'd see that actually black, blue and white remains the same. So that's 0, 1, 2, and then 3 is your green. Red is going to be added to the last, and pink is appended to the last as well. But as we know, you can access different elements within the linked list. So this is 3. Watch what happens if I put in 2. So now we have black, blue, and we've accessed an element and we've pushed down white. So that's how we can access particular elements within a linked list. However, we know that it's more efficient to access particular elements with an array list, but to append and manipulate another list into a linked list is more efficient. Okay, so I'm going to continue on then for the next one. The next one is going to be our collections methods, and I'll see you in the next video. If you like the channel, please subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye.